Imagine this. You walk through the towering marble gates of a royal palace, but something feels off. The night outside is deep and black, but in here there is no darkness. Thousands of candles burn in golden holders along endless corridors. Torches line the ceilings. Slaves rush with buckets of oil to keep lamps alive. Even the private bedchambers glow with flickering light, as if the palace itself has declared war on the night. The ruler who commands all this is no ordinary man. He is an emperor, powerful, feared, untouchable, and yet he is terrified of something every single one of his subjects takes for granted: the dark. To him, darkness is not simply the absence of light. It is an enemy, a shadow that hides assassins, evil spirits, and madness. So he issues a decree unlike any other in history. In his palace, Nightfall will never exist. Picture the spectacle. While peasants in the city stumble under moonlight, here inside the imperial palace, light blazes as if it were permanent day. Courtiers squint as they whisper gossip. Servants sweat under the heat of hundreds of torches. The emperor, draped in robes of silk, smiles with satisfaction. He has conquered night. But what does this decision reveal about him? Why would a ruler of men, who commands armies, executes rivals, and shapes history, tremble before something as simple as nightfall? Was it paranoia, madness, or the crushing weight of power itself? Before we explore this story, let me pause for a moment. If you enjoy uncovering the hidden and forgotten corners of history, the kind of stories that make the past feel stranger than fiction, consider subscribing and let me know in the comments where in the world you're listening from. I always find it remarkable that these ancient shadows connect us across continents and centuries. Now, let us go back into the fire-lit corridors of an emperor who defied nature itself, and in doing so, revealed the fragility behind his crown. The fear of the dark has haunted rulers across civilizations, but for this emperor, it became obsession. Every evening, as the sun sank and shadows crept over the palace walls, his heart raced. In those shadows, he imagined conspiracies, daggers glinting in silence, ghosts of his enemies returning for revenge, even demons summoned by his sins. And perhaps he wasn't entirely wrong. History tells us that palaces were the most dangerous places at night. Many assassinations happened in darkness. Servants, mistresses, and even sons of kings plotted under the veil of night. The emperor had seen it happen. To him, sleep was vulnerability. Darkness was betrayal waiting to strike. So he crafted a world where the sun never set. He ordered slaves to light thousands of oil lamps and to keep them burning until dawn. If even one torch went out, punishments were severe. Palace guards were forced to patrol in shifts without rest, their faces glowing orange against the torchlight. Night in the palace became brighter than day. Imagine what it felt like for those who lived inside. Courtiers went blind from staring at constant firelight. The smell of smoke clung to clothes and hair. Musicians played at midnight as if it were afternoon, because time itself no longer mattered. Inside these golden halls, the emperor had remade reality. And yet, beneath this display of power was fear. Chroniclers describe emperors like Charles VI of France, who believed his body was made of glass, and Caligula of Rome, who demanded the moon be worshipped as his prisoner. Our emperor fits within this lineage of rulers whose paranoia consumed them. By controlling light, he believed he could control fate. But light cannot burn forever. What was it like for those forced to live in the emperor's day that never ended? For the servants, it was torment. Imagine carrying buckets of oil through corridors at 3 in the morning, eyes stinging with smoke, knowing that if a lamp went out, your back would feel the whip. Some collapsed from exhaustion, but the emperor cared little. The illusion of eternal day mattered more than the lives of those who sustained it. For the nobles, it was a different kind of torture. They were forced to attend banquets at midnight when their bodies longed for rest. Musicians played harps while courtiers sipped wine, pretending it was afternoon. Laughter rang hollow. Women's jewels glittered in torchlight until dawn. Nobody dared yawn, because in the emperor's palace, to show fatigue was to insult the sun he had created. Children grew confused. Some never learned the difference between night and day. Physicians recorded cases of illness caused by exhaustion and smoke inhalation. The emperor's desire for control had twisted nature itself, and everyone around him paid the price. Yet ironically, the emperor himself grew more restless. Surrounded by light, he found no peace. His paranoia deepened. Shadows seemed to move just beyond the flames. Candles flickered as if whispering secrets, and so he added more torches, more lamps, more oil. It was a war he could never win, because darkness was not outside him. It lived within. But no empire of fire lasts forever. The cracks began with scarcity. The cost of oil and wax drained the treasury. Entire villages were taxed simply to supply fuel for the emperor's madness. Rebellions brewed in the countryside while the palace burned bright. Servants whispered curses under their breath as they dragged torches through endless nights. Then came accidents. Fires broke out constantly. Curtains ignited, halls filled with smoke, courtiers choked on fumes. At least once, the emperor nearly burned alive when his bedchamber drapes caught fire. Yet instead of ending his obsession, this only fed it. He became convinced that darkness had tried to strike back and must be resisted even harder. But exhaustion was the true assassin. Guards fell asleep on duty. Musicians collapsed mid-song. Doctors warned of madness spreading among courtiers. Even the emperor's own body began to fail, racked by sleeplessness and nerves. In the chronicles, the end comes almost poetically. One night, a storm struck. Winds howled, rain poured, and torches sputtered one by one. For the first time in years, darkness fell inside the palace. Panic erupted. Servants screamed. Courtiers clutched each other in terror. And the emperor? He is said to have collapsed, trembling, as if the very shadow he had fought had finally claimed him. What do we make of this emperor who banned the night? On the surface, his story sounds absurd, almost laughable. A ruler of millions, brought to ruin by fear of shadows. But look deeper, and you see a universal truth. Power magnifies human weakness. For peasants, fear of the dark is ordinary. For an emperor, it became history itself. By trying to erase night, he exposed his own fragility. His paranoia forced thousands to suffer, drained empires of wealth, and left behind tales of smoke-filled corridors that stank of madness. His legacy is not victories or monuments, but a palace that never slept, and the lesson that no man, not even an emperor, can fight the rhythm of nature. And maybe that's why this story still unsettles us, because we see ourselves in it. How often do we, too, wage wars against shadows, fears that exist only in our minds, yet shape our choices? When I think of that emperor, surrounded by endless light, I don't see triumph. I see loneliness. A man who could command armies, but not his own thoughts. A palace filled with brilliance, but empty of peace. So the next time you light a candle at night, think of him. Think of the emperor who tried to banish darkness forever, and remember that even the brightest fire casts a shadow.